present in this webinar. It is my privilege to be here, and this is the first time we are going to organize the webinar, and our topic is Empowering Maternal Health Task Force. Despite important work and an infusion of resources, the number of maternal deaths per year has remained at the same level for more than 2 decades. This challenge is complex because, like many other public health priorities, maternal health is difficult to address successfully in the context of the countries where most maternal deaths occur. Maternal Health Task Force means to create the architecture to provide both structure and support to build consensus among a spectrum of actors working on maternal health issues and related fields. Objectives of this webinar are to make progress to the maternal and child care services, to guide identification of critical areas of debate and gaps in the maternal health field, to establish effective mechanism to fill up those gaps, to stimulate new thinking, action about research and evidence-based practices related to maternal health. So I hope that all of you will enhance your knowledge through this webinar. And today we have eminent speaker within us. We have the speaker from the Nursing Training Institute, Mrs. Moitri Choudhury, who have completed Master of Nursing from RK College of Nursing, New Delhi in 2005, and now she is pursuing PhD in nursing. She has experience in teaching, administration, research, and also Nursing Council register. She has many publication and working experiences more than 28 years. At present, she is the principal of Nursing Training Institute, AGMC, and GBPH. Welcome, Madam Moitri Choudhury, to present her topic regarding the antenatal care and family welfare services. Madam, please you go through your presentation.
Thank you, Devi Chakraborty. As a moderator of this webinar, we have organized for the first time in Tripura in nursing service, especially for all nursing service working in state, those who are closely attached to the labor room as well as skilled lab in our state. Also, we include in this webinar our faculties, nursing personnel working in various settings, as well as our student nurses. So as we know that Empowering Maternal Health Task Force, maternal health, it's the most important and vulnerable, also risk population in our society. So starting from the family and development of the growth and development of children at birth and to various stages of her life cycles up to as a good citizen of the nations. So we as a member of family, we all are individual. Being a member of family, we have the legal responsibilities as well as accountabilities for all members of the families, as we share our responsibilities in the family. So first of all, we have considered the family welfare services in this topic. Make every mother and child count, the slogan of WHO. It shows that all mothers and children are the vulnerable population in societies, and the prosperity of the societies depends on the mothers and children's health specially. So mother and children constitute a priority group in developing countries. They comprise approximately 71.14% of the population. In India, women of childbearing age, that is 15 to 45 years, constitute 22.2% of the total population. So they are also a vulnerable as well as special risk group in the society. In 2019, study shows that about 26.62% of the Indian population was under the age group 0 to 14 and 76% into the 15 to 64 age group, and only 6.38% were over 65 years of age. Then total fertility rate in 2020 is 2.2, that is live births per woman, and infant mortality rate also 26.6, and that is death under children per 1000 means newborn, means infant up to 1 year of age. And under 5 years, death is 32.9% per 1000 live birth. Statistics taken from National Health and Family Welfare surveys for in India conducted in the year 2015-16 shows that 12% of women in the age group of 15 to 19 in Tripura have completed only 12 or more years of schooling, that is compared with the 19% of male. The median age group at marriage, that is 19.6 years among women aged 20 to 49 years age. 33% of women aged 20 to 24 years got married before the legal minimum age of 18 years. Fertility rate, that is good 1.7 children per woman. And regarding the pregnancy outcome, 87% of last pregnancies in the 5 years preceding the survey ended in a live birth. 13% terminated in fetal wastage, includes abortion, miscarriage, or stillbirth. 10% of women reporting an abortion having complications from abortion. 57% availed public health sector services. And regarding teenage pregnancy, 15 to 19 years age group, 19% have already begun childbearing, that is already had a live birth or are pregnant with first child. Then regarding contraception, spacing, users of modern spacing methods discontinued use within the first year of after they adopted the method. And regarding child and mortality rate in Tripura, that is 27 deaths before the age of 1 year per 1000 live births. 6% antenatal mother did not receive any antenatal care. More than 2/3, that is 71% mothers registered for the most recent live birth. 83% received a mother and child protection card, and 64% mother received at least 4 antenatal visits for their last birth. 81% of births during past 5 years took place with assistance from skilled provider. Only 9% of last births in the 5 years preceding the survey received a health checkup in the first 2 days after birth. Only 4% home births received a health checkup in the first 2 days after birth. So we have seen that there is no 100% coverage in any stages of this category of population in society. So we have to take care of this. So regarding fulfillment or to achieve our goal, so for healthy people in 2020, broad goal has said includes to improve quality of life, to eliminate health disparities and achieve true health equity, to protect health throughout all stages of life, and to make our environment healthier so that we can get the social determinants of health. So we have to consider the family as a unit of healthcare services. Reasons for considering the family as a unit of healthcare services includes that family is a natural and fundamental unit of society, and most crucial environment are providing by the family. As we all are being the member of family, then we get shelter, support, foods, emotional support, everything we get from the family. As a member of family, we are as an individual of family, we have to consider our individual health as well as the health of the family members. The family is an effective and available channel for much of the community health nursing efforts. Aim of the family health services includes reduction of maternal, infant and child mortality and also morbidity of these vulnerable populations. Family planning to space out children and ensure planned parenthood, improve in nutritional status of all family members, health education for all preventive aspect and as well as protective and promotive aspect of this family. Broad field of the family health includes MCH, maternal and child health services, family welfare services, nutrition regarding health education also. Then we look at the aims and objectives of family welfare program includes to promote adoption of small family size norms on the basis of voluntary acceptance, to promote the use of spacing methods, to ensure adequate supply of contraceptive to the eligible couples within easy reach, and to promote health of the mother and children, to ensure safe motherhood and child survivals. That is, ultimate and immediate objectives are to reduce infant mortality rate as well as maternal mortality and morbidity rates. Then objectives of family planning includes main objectives and specific objectives. Main objective is same, that, to improve the status of maternal and child, for improvement of overall quality of life as a whole family, by increasing access and utilization of quality family planning services. And specific objectives includes special field to increase access and to use quality services which are safe, effective and acceptable to individual and couples. And special focus will be given to increasing access to rural, poor, marginalized people, those with high unmet need for their life. The maternal mortality ratio in India, according to sample registration system, that is 122 per 1 lakh live births in the study conducted in 2015 to 2017. Then, so sustainable development goal targeted for reduction of this maternal mortality ratio by 70 by 2030. So there are so many public health focus for improving all these vulnerable group of people in the society. There are so many health schemes under National Health Mission. These are Lakha Poshan Abhigyan means Abhijan, Pradhan Mantri Surakshit Matritva Abhijan, Janani Shishu Suraksha Karjakram, Janani Suraksha Yojana. So all we are as a trainer for various setting in training field and in hospital, everywhere. As we are a healthcare provider, we know all these in details. So please be careful for implementation or as well as for teaching and learning field where you are working. So please be remind it in details for this all scheme under National Health Missions. For achievement of these above, special emphasis are to be given towards the newborn girl at birth to every stages of her growth and development, and center of the care must be considered for health of the mother beginning from her pregnancy to natal and postnatal period. Let them grow, safeguard girl child for a healthy family and prosperous nation. Let them grow naturally being a good citizen, care for our growth and development in all dimensions and determinants of the health includes physical, mental, social, spiritual, cultural, environmental, education, and that's all. So as she is growing as a adolescent, and how to deal with these adolescent girls. Adolescent means it is the period that is to grow into adulthood. The period of stage or age group that is 10 to 19 years and is a period of transition from childhood to adulthood. So try to protect as a family members, as a parents, try to protect this transition period of her life in all aspects of her development. And that is when in the family, and when she is going to school, they promote healthy behavior, healthy development in the school, a healthy environment and an atmosphere, and clean air, adequate supply of water, sanitation, and including hygiene includes our menstrual hygiene also. So she or he, she mainly the girl child, a transport system that should be safe for her in every ways of her life. Laws to protect the rights of the adolescent. So if we consider this newborn girl, adolescent, and in every stages of her development, the family atmosphere is most important. And here we as a parent or as a guardian in her family life, we have to consider her every aspects of her development. So we have to consider the family as a primary unit of the society. It includes it also primary unit as a biological units, cultural units, provide cultural or wide varieties in the societies, and epidemiological units, and therefore family seeking the attention of sociologists, anthropologists, demographers, epidemiologists, medical scientists, and in fact all those who are concerned with the family welfare services. We have seen that there are various type of families: joint family, nuclear family, extended family, and 3-generation family. So comes to the concept of the family welfare program. Family welfare program means the welfare of whole family by means of total family health care, including family planning of birth. And these are the about the family welfare concept. National Family Welfare Program. The government of India introduced National Family Planning Program in the year 1951, and this program is by these terms is changed to actual program and actual policy intended and stated approach to the program implementation, and which is again renamed. The family planning is again renamed in the year 1977 as family welfare program. So these are about the historical background, how this family planning is becoming the family welfare program and includes the various aspects of the family welfare and components of the family welfare programs. Now the family welfare program includes again the reproductive, maternal, and child health program plus adolescent health. In the year 2012 is added. So activities under this family welfare program includes sterilization. There are various activities: sterilization program, IUD, intrauterine device, contraceptive program, family planning insurance schemes, Janani Suraksha Yojana, nutrition program, urban welfare program, and urban revamping program, and as well as green card scheme, rural family welfare center, sub-center, LHV, immunization, and infant mortality reduction mission, medical termination of pregnancy, reproductive and child health program. These are the activities going on still since 1951 to still days under the family welfare program. So family welfare program mainly includes the family planning, information, counseling, and services to women for healthy reproduction, education about safe delivery and post-delivery delivery of the mother and the baby, and the treatment of women before pregnancy, healthcare for infants, immunization against preventable diseases and prevention and treatment of sexually and reproductive tract infection. So family planning in India started since 1951, and by this 2020, India will overreach goals to drive access, choice, and qualities of family planning services so as to increase the modern contraceptive uses from 53.1% to 54.3% and ensure that 74% of the demand for modern contraceptive is satisfied by 2020. So there are various family planning methods, includes temporary and or spacing method and permanent and terminal methods. That we know as a trainer, we have to teach our trainees, as well as we have to aware our population, general population, mainly eligible couples, and the maternal population for these family planning methods to adapt their according to their choice and according to the convenience. Then this includes barrier methods also, physical, chemical, and combined physical, chemical, and intrauterine device, that is non-medicated intrauterine device and medicated intrauterine device. Non-medicated was first generation device, that is Lippis loop, and medicated second generation, that is copper T, and third generation is progesterone. So there are various reasons that maternal side or family members or the couples, eligible couples, they are not using the contraception because there is lack of knowledge and lack of access. Lack of knowledge in the sense they are not aware about the devices, what are the devices that are available, and they do not know about the contraception methods and what are the benefits and what are the disadvantages of these contraception uses. And lack of access means the health facilities may not be available, or health facilities available, or they do not want to go, or the maternal side, they are very busy with the family and household works, and so it is very difficult to access these contraception methods. So being a healthcare provider, we have to motivate and we have to share their our materials, means our facilities along with the maternal population, that they have to take the responsibility that they are the means citizen of this society, and for all these methods are mainly used for population stabilization. So these are the different types of contraceptions, and includes natural methods of contraceptions. And then in this family welfare and family planning methods, services and programs, role of community health nurse is very essential, very important. So she is advocating as a advocate, she is advocating the family and administrative. She also provides some administrative rules and functional rules and helping the family to adopt the contraception, suitable contraception methods according to their convenience and according to their availability. Then supervisory roles, overall supervision of the work of other health personnel includes ANM, ASHA workers. These are under her supervision. And then educational roles plays and role of community health educator for family, individual, and community in application of knowledge in skills in different settings. And as well as she is as a researcher, she has to participate directly or indirectly in any research work in the community, and as a evaluator, evaluate the work done whether it fulfill the objectives. So these are the some factors which responsible for family planning services, such as organizational and health system level factors, community and social level factors, interpersonal or family level factors, and individual level factors. Next comes to the, as we know, the family maternal health is the most important health in our family. As she is pregnant, her pregnancy period, means that is antenatal period. Antenatal care is very important, because if we take care of the mother antenatal during her antenatal period, she will give birth a healthy baby. for our society, it will be very good. So antenatal care is the systematic supervision of women during pregnancy to monitor the progress of fetal growth and to ascertain the well-being of the mother and the fetus. So proper antenatal checkup provides necessary care to the mother and helps identify any complication during the pregnancy. So during the pregnancy, antenatal any complications includes anemia, preeclampsia, hypertension in the mother, and slow or inadequate growth of the fetus. So how we can recognize the inadequate growth of the fetus? We have to observe and we have to examine the mother properly, that regarding mainly regarding her weight gaining. So this will indicate the growth of the fetus. So antenatal care is very important during this period. As a being a healthcare provider, we have to be taken care of this mother during this period mostly. So what is new regarding, we know about the antenatal care that minimum 4 visit has to be made by any antenatal mother. So new guideline regarding antenatal care as per WHO is published in 2016 that there are 8 contact a woman with her antenatal provider should be more than a simple visit to visit, but rather the provision of care and support throughout the pregnancy. So means 8 contact has to be made by the antenatal mother with her provider, that is active connection between the pregnant woman and the healthcare provider, that is not implicit with the word visit. And contact is synonymous. Still it is there is some difference. Contact is especially an active connection in between pregnant woman and with the healthcare provider. So it recommends by the WHO pregnant women to have their first contact in the first 12 weeks of gestation, that is first visit, with subsequent contacts taking place at 20 weeks, 26 weeks, 30 weeks, 34 weeks, 36 weeks, 38 weeks, and 4 weeks of gestation. So these are the recommendations of WHO that is new for this, and any or others are oral consumption of oral iron and folic acid supplementation, tetanus toxoid vaccination, and one ultrasound scan before 20 weeks of gestation is must recommended by WHO. So these are the new guidelines of WHO for antenatal services. Purpose and approaches of antenatal care. The purpose of antenatal care is to screen, diagnose, manage, or control the risk factors that might adversely affect the pregnant woman and or the pregnancy outcome. There are several approaches of antenatal care, which includes the traditional approach, goal-directed antenatal care, focused antenatal care, and the basic antenatal approaches. The components of antenatal care includes quality. Antenatal care has several components. It includes a few primary steps, essential components of every antenatal checkup, that includes history taking, physical examination, abdominal palpation, and laboratory investigations. Then desirable components includes determine the blood group, including Rh factors, then conduct venereal disease, means VDRL test, and test for the women for human immunodeficiency virus, check the blood sugar, carry out the hepatitis B surface antigen test. These are the components. Includes counseling also, which helps the woman to plan and prepare for birth or delivery of the baby, whether it is at home or at any healthcare facilities by the trained health personnel. And advice includes diet, then breastfeeding, preparation for breastfeeding, then sex during pregnancy, then warn against domestic violence and promote family planning, then inform regarding the Janani Suraksha Yojana, and tie up with the nearest integrated counseling centers for prevention of parent to child transmission, facilities for counseling and testing of HIV. Then next comes to the conclusions of these topics. Two topics I have covered, the time also taken. By conclusion, we can say that healthcare providers are very much responsible for rendering the quality services towards mother, beginning from the period of antenatal, internatal, postnatal, as well as the newborn to their every stages of growth and development, become a good citizen. Thank you very much for patience listening.
Thank you, Moitri ma'am, for your elaborate explanation and well covering the topics of family welfare services, including antenatal care. So from this presentation, we have learned that maternal health refers to the health of women during pregnancy, childbirth, and the postnatal period. Each stage should be a positive experience, ensuring women and their babies reach their full potential for health and well-being. Most maternal deaths are preventable with timely management by a skilled health professional working in a supporting environment. So by quality antenatal care will encourage the woman to seek skilled care at childhood and reduce stillbirths, childbirth complications, and newborn deaths. Help women get care and counseling for HIV, malaria, tuberculosis, and other conditions. Throughout the pregnancy, all women should have at least 8 contacts with the healthcare provider. Thank you, Ma'am Moitri, once again.
Thank you.
And we have the next speaker, Mrs. Gauri Shina, and she has completed her Masters of Nursing from Tripura College of Nursing in 2016. Her specialty is midwifery nursing. She has both clinical and teaching experience more than 17 years. She will cover the topic on care of a mother during labor. So I welcome Ma'am Gauri Sinha to be present her topic regarding the care of mother during the labor. Welcome, Gauri. You go through your slides.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Madam Principal, Mrs. Moitri Chaudhuri, for giving me this opportunity, wonderful opportunity. And thank you, Madam Devi Chakraborty, also for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Now, I'll start my topic. My topic is normal labor and its physiology. So the content of the topic is definition of labor, criteria of normal labor, causes of onset of labor, false labor versus true labor, stages of labor, physiology of first stage of labor, physiology of second stage of labor, mechanism of labor, physiology of third stage of labor, and management of labor. First, I'll talk about the definition of labor. Series of event takes place in the genital organ in an effort to expel the viable product of conception, that is fetus, placenta and membrane, out of the womb through the vagina into the outer wall is called labor. It may occur prior to 37 completed weeks. It is called preterm labor. So the definition of delivery is also here. Delivery is the expulsion or extraction of a viable fetus out of the womb. Now, the criteria of normal labor. The criteria of normal labor are: the first one is spontaneous in onset. It should be in spontaneously and at term and with vertex presentation. And the third one is natural termination with minimal aids. Fourth one is without undue prolongation. Fifth one is without having any complication affecting the health of the mother and baby. So as we know that criteria for normal labor, Now the definition of abnormal labor also we can learn. The abnormal labor is any deviation from the normal labor is called abnormal labor. Whatever criteria I said, if there is any deviation from the normal criteria, that labor you can say abnormal labor. Now the date of onset of labor, how it occurs, it is very much unpredictable to foreplay precisely the exact date of onset of labor. Calculation is based on Naegeli's formula that Madam has already told, give a rough guide. Based on this Naegeli's formula, labor starts approximately on the expected date in 4% and 1 week in on either side in 50% and 2 weeks earlier and 1 week later in 80%. At 42 weeks in 10% and 43 weeks plus in 4%. Now there are many factors are reliable responsible for onset of labor. Now the first one is uterine distension theory. Uterine distension theory, as the baby grows and the liquor of baby grows, baby sizes also increases and liquor amni also increases. That effects on the myometrium and the muscle layer, it stretches. Ultimately the labor initiates. The second one is fetoplacental contribution. Now I'm showing the next slide to show the fetoplacental contribution. Here we can see the fetus, placenta and mother. In the fetus, there are so many events takes place in the labor. That events stimulates the hypothalamus of the fetus, that stimulates the CRH. CRH, it stimulates, ultimately stimulates the pituitary. Pituitary, it stimulates, pituitary secretes the ACTH, and ACTH, it stimulates the fetal adrenal gland, and fetal adrenal gland secretes the cortisol. Ultimately, cortisol, it affects on the placenta that secretes many hormones which is reliable for initiating the labor. Now estrogen also, there are so many factors. Estrogen, it helps in the labor, and prostaglandin and progesterone, they are directly related to the labor. Prostaglandin, it secretes from the amnion, chorion and decidua, which initiates, helps in initiating the labor. Oxytocin, we know, is very popular. Oxytocin, so many oxytocin receptors are working here in initiating labor. And neurological factor, there are many nerve cell are present in the nerve receptor are present in the cervix, which helps in initiating labor during the stretching effect of the myometrium. Now the premonitoring stage of labor. In case of primigravida, the premonitory stage initiating of labor, premonitory stage start 2 to 3 weeks before the onset of true labor. And in case of multigravida, it few days prior it initiates. The features of premonitoring stage of labor are lightening and cervical changes and appearance of false pain. Now, I have shown one picture, the lightening effect. You can see in the picture, before lightening, the first picture is before lightening and the second picture is after lightening. After lightening, you can see, yes, after lightening, you can see there is a big gapping. The presenting parts already descends into the inlet of the true pelvis, so that there is a big gapping between the diaphragm and the conceptus. So mother gets a sense of relief. This is the lightening. And now false versus true labor pain. The features of false labor pain: this is a dull in nature, confined to lower abdomen and groin, is not associated with hardening of the uterus, no feature of true pain, usually relieved by enema or sedative. And the feature of true labor pain are painful uterine contraction at regular interval, frequency of contraction increase progressively, and show is very popular. You know that expulsion of mucus plug mixed with the blood is called show. Progressive effacement and dilatation of the cervix is a feature of true labor pain, and descent of the presenting part and formation of bag of water is not relieved. True labor pain is not relieved by the enema or sedative. This is the comparison between the false labor pain and true labor pain. You can differentiate whether it is true labor pain or false labor pain. Now the stages of labor. Conventionally, there are 3 stages of labor. So one stage is also added. The first stage is first one is first stage of labor. It starts with the onset of true labor pain and ends with the full dilatation of cervix. It is also known as cervical stage of labor. The average duration of first stage of labor in primary gravity is 12 hours and 6 hours in multipary. And second stage of labor, it starts with the full dilatation of cervix with expulsion of the fetus from the birth canal. Its average duration is 2 hours in primary gravida and 30 minutes in multipary. Now the definition of third stage of labor, it begins with the expulsion of the fetus, ends with the expulsion of placenta and membrane. Its average duration is 15 minutes, both in primary gravida and multipara. The duration is, however, reduced to 5 minutes because of active management of third stage of labor. The fourth stage of labor, it is the stage of observation at least 1 hour after the expulsion of after birth, that is placenta and membrane. During this period, maternal vitals, uterine reaction, and any vaginal bleeding are monitored. Baby is examined, and these are done to ensure that both mother and baby are well. Now, I'll discuss about the 3 P's of labor, important 3 P's. There are so many P's are there, only 3 P's I have shown in the slide. One is power, that is uterine contraction and maternal pushing effort, and passenger is that is fetus, mainly the fetal head, and passage that is pelvis of mother. The first one is uterine contraction. So as you know that uterine contraction, initially it starts from the cornua, that is situated near the fundus and fallopian tube, starts with the uterine contraction from the cornua and sweeps downwards over the uterus. During labor, early labor, it starts contraction comes at the interval of 15 to 30 minutes in early stage and lasts for 30 seconds. And later contraction comes at the interval of 3 to 5 minutes and lasts for 45 seconds. The clinical pains are said to be good if they comes at the interval of 3 to 5 minutes. So there are so many tests we can see. Now contraction can be measured by basal tone of the uterus, active peak pressure, frequency of the contraction. Assessment is done by the tocodynamometer with external transducer. This is one picture I have shown in the slide. This is the picture. This is the picture. Actually, it is during the second stage. The stretching effect of the myometrium, how it gives pressure during the contraction, uterine contraction, how it gives pressure to the baby to expel from the uterus. This is actually for the undergraduates. This is the uterine abdominal pressure. This is the one of the graph. Abdominal intra-abdominal pressure shown in the graph. This is the normal. The uterine contraction reaches pressure of 50